Hello and welcome to another Dominions 5 video. I'm the False God, and I have today with me Arpatheus,
Hello, everyone.
who's joined us several times. Welcome. He's been in a couple of my Disciples games, in fact, all of my Disciples games, and was with us when we reviewed the Lizard Men in Warhammer, and today we're going to be looking at the High Elves in Warhammer. And I know that you just love the High Elves, right? They're your favorite.
I mean, I don't hate them, but they're definitely one of my least favorite.
I thought that I heard a lot of contempt when we were originally discussing. Not
I
from a
mean,
Dominion's perspective.
I just think I don't know, they're always just given so much stuff, and then they're really arrogant, and
Hmm.
I don't like it. I don't like
Hmm.
it.
He's not a high elf enjoyer. For the record, that is, I believe, about the actual Warhammer high elves, not necessarily the Dominion's high elves or the
No, I think
Dominion's
they're cool.
version.
I think the Dominion tiles are cool.
Yes. Okay, so just sort of bringing up the screen. So you are technically you're high elves, but you're not like a Dominion's elf, right? There's no glamour here. There are some units with stealth, but most of your units don't have it. All of your troops are supposed to be very strong. They're all very expensive, and they all, sacred and non-sacred, have half upkeep. You can see down here, which is pretty relevant. That doesn't stack with your sacreds, but pretty relevant in terms of being able to actually afford to have any kind of standing forces. And it does mean that losing your troops is much worse than it is for other nations, just because a lot of the gold cost in having them is paid up front. They have crazy magic all over the place. The researchers are better in magic scales. Stuff's expensive. They're good at foraging. Mercenaries are expensive, and labs are cheaper, just slightly. So yeah, I don't know how much. Have you had a chance to look much at the nation? All these Warhammer ones always have about 1,000 units and commanders. Look like
Yeah,
Uruk out here.
they've got a lot, haven't they? Yeah. I had a quick look. I think high elves are a lot more like the Lord of the Rings elves than the Dominions elves. If
Yes,
people don't know about the lore for Warhammer.
yes, yep, that's right. Um,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
okay,
I think you've looked at them a little bit more. So if you
yes,
lead, and
yeah. No, I'll go
I'll
ahead
jump in when I see
I'll
something.
go ahead and start in. So yeah, I've been doing a bunch of expansion testing and stuff and messing with them. I think I actually am going to start with the commander lineup, and then we'll go to the troop lineup.
Okay.
First, you have a 25 gold scout, who in classic elf fashion is actually slightly stealthier than a regular scout, even though he costs the same.
This is what I mean by in everything in Warhammer, the high elves just get stuff.
Just that extra little bit.
Yeah.
Um, but these are recruitable. These are foreign rec as well, I believe.
Oh, nice, nice.
So you can have as many scouts as you want, and they're cheap and they're a little bit stealthy, which is very nice. You have a bunch of noble commanders who are on horseback. This is your cheapest one, 80 gold for 80 leadership. So he's a good leader right off the bat. Um, Very good defense, right? 21 defense, not a lot of protection. But this should not be a leader that's immediately dying in like expansion, right? He's generally not going to get whacked.
Yeah, he seems really good. Good map move as well.
Yes, great map move. A lot of the high elves actually have really good
21
map
defense
move.
was really good. I like him. Is he got unsurroundable as well?
Yep, unsurroundable too.
Oh, okay.
I think a
Yeah,
bunch of the Elvish cavalry we'll see has unsurroundable.
nice.
And he's at 27, so he's 80 gold and 27 resources, which from a high elf perspective is actually not that bad. This is going to be tied for your cheapest expansion leader with our next unit, who costs slightly fewer resources but the same amount of gold for much lower leadership. Now he's got animal awe and a patrol bonus and beast mastery, but much less defense, less movement. I have not found that I'm using this guy in expansion. I've been pretty much just using the noble. He's more survivable. He's more movement. And while the resources are really important. The difference of 11 for one turn is not necessarily huge.
Yeah, I don't really see the use case for this guy. Even the Beastmaster +1 is kind of cancelled out by the fact the other guy has better leadership anyway,
Right.
so he's giving everyone a +1.
Yeah, even this guy is unsurroundable too, actually. Maybe it's not just the cavalry. He's got a patrol bonus, so I don't know. Maybe you can have this guy patrol.
I don't think you get
but,
a commander for patrol -5.
Yeah, I don't
The only
think so.
thing I can see is the survival abilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he
Maybe
does have
useful,
this.
but the other commander's got 22 movement, so I'm not.
Yep, and there's another commander who we'll get to who I think might have. Okay, he just has the wasteland one instead. This guy has mountain forest, but not
He
stealthy.
could cross over if you were playing cold scales. He could move over mountains still.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's maybe.
If you
maybe.
you do have some units that have it too, but so maybe. But I would say kind of a niche. It's a niche spot.
Yeah, very niche.
This guy is recruitable only in coastal tiles, but he has sailing. With max size 4, which is kind of unusual. Usually units only sail up to their size. Some of them sail one bigger, but this guy actually sails size 4 units. Now he's got 60 leadership, so he doesn't get the bump up, but he can move quite a lot of people around if you've got a lake or something nearby to sort of access.
You really pay for that sailing bonus though, because it's extra recruitment point is quite big as well. But sailing's great, so I like him.
It is important to point out at this point too. Again, because the high elves are better than you, they have a citadel. They can't build citadels,
and they know that they are.
Yes, they don't build new ones, but their starting fort is a citadel.
Oh, okay.
We have another dude on a horse. This guy's an extra 20 gold, but slightly fewer resources than our first noble we looked at. He is stealthy, as well as he has a supply bonus of 2. I think the units that look like this have the supply bonus too, so I think it's just for thematic consistency.
I think the Illyrian units are often the scouting units of the army, so maybe that's why.
Yeah. So, but a stealthy 80 leadership commander, you have stealthy units. You could definitely try and do some raiding. I will say, depending on what you're doing, your units are still mundane and they're very expensive. So you need to have you need to make sure that they're gonna be able to get out too, which the stealth helps a lot with.
I think 28 map moves stealthy leadership 80 commander who's
21
defense 21, and then he's also got a bow. So if you don't want him going near,
he can shoot his
line. He can just shoot instead of the other commander as well.
Yeah, and he's got great precision.
So you can maybe give him an item, to be fair.
Yeah, you could definitely throw one of these guys with a bow into an army and try and have him do something.
Yeah, I think he's really good.
Yeah, definitely some good stuff.
Not all the time though. I think the noble is your main guy, and this is you need a purpose for this guy. But I think there's lots of purposes.
Yep, and he's only the 1 rec point too.
Yeah,
which is nice. This guy is another 100 gold. Also stealthy. I think he's stealthier. Yeah, this guy's 55. This guy's 70, and he has an air shield of 70.
Nice.
Which is nice against arrows. There's a unit that looks like him that he could potentially move around. He has less map move, less defense. This air shield's got to matter, I think. Because if you send him,
has he got like a really big patrol bonus? How big is it?
5.
Okay.
I think he's mostly overshadowed by the other guy. But
yeah, I think the last guy just seems much more interesting to me.
Yeah.
We're doing like the same role. I think stealth 55 is really good anyway.
Yep.
Like the average is normally 40, so.
Yeah, I don't know that you need the extra 15 super badly.
Maybe you've got some Bane Venom charms in you. Maybe it's something like
Death
that.
is like the only thing you have. Death and blood are the only magic you haven't got. Except on a hero, you get like Death 1.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to find those. I think all the Warhammer games take place in the Middle Age in terms of finding, random mages and such.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a prince who is essentially a noble but bigger. 120 leadership, 2 rec points, 120 gold. But when you want that extra leadership, right? 120 leadership is very good at keeping your guys' morale up. I want to say he's not your only 120, but he is your cheapest 120 leader.
Yeah, I think this guy's pretty straightforward. I think that's
yeah. He does. I mean, when you need a big leader, he's your guy.
Yeah. I don't think I'd be using him for like as my standard.
No,
because of the 2 recruitment points mainly. I think.
Yep. When Wailing Winds is coming though, or something, right? And you need every point of leadership that you can get, of morale you can get. I think that it definitely has a home.
Oh yeah.
He's not cap only or anything either, right? So yeah, you sort of waste a mage turn, but you can pull him out of anywhere. You have another 120 leadership. This guy's in a chariot. He costs more. I don't particularly know why you would need him instead of the other one. He's much more likely to die, I think, if he actually goes and tramples.
Well.
He costs a lot of resources.
Do you have more hit points?
24 against 20. So yes, but not a huge amount.
Yeah. Slightly better protection. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, to be fair though, chariots like the TNG chariot commander, the early age, is quite a good like early game thug.
Okay.
So
maybe.
Well, like, I say quite good, but like I think it's definitely a viable strategy. So maybe
this guy can thug it out a little bit
early out, just for expansion even.
Maybe
quite good.
He's 53 resources though, which is a lot.
I'm trying to find excuses for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't immediately. I was doing it when in my expansion testing. I did not. It did not really occur to me to try and throw this guy out there by himself as a leader, but
I like to think outside the box. Though.
Yeah. We've got some out of the box expansion ideas that are coming down the road here.
I'm sure High Elves do find an expansion though.
Yes, I think they do excellently. We'll get to the units, but yeah, another 120 gold leader. This one costs even more, and he has fire resistance, which I think is very relevant. This guy's going to do better against like flame from the sky when you have him carrying troops around, or against particular nations. Like again, I think you need a purpose. I don't think that you should be just recruiting this guy right away. I think you should use the other one, but when those kinds of things potentially come out, built-in fire resistance is not nothing.
Yeah. Also, Dragon Princes and this guy's like the commander version of them are one of the coolest cav in the game. So you should get him for that reason.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, there's a lot of Dragon Princey stuff that's available in this nation.
Yeah, I don't know if you're a bit more familiar with the mod than me, but is having this high leadership quite common?
I think it's more common. I'm not familiar either. But from what I have seen, just like in general, little looking, it's not crazy. I don't know if they always get 120 or maybe people are just sometimes stuck at 80. But I definitely think that they're taking a lot of the high general units and throwing them out there as options.
Okay.
Compared to the base game. Especially just when you have so many units, right? Like that's another way you can sort of distinguish somebody.
So how often do you think you're getting him?
I think you are getting like maybe a couple if you're going against somebody who's got a lot of fire, or you're afraid of flames to the sky or something. I think you're getting this guy up and until you're like, you know what, I really care about 10 fire resistance.
He's got a bit better protection as well, so you maybe don't need to get him armor.
Yeah, he's 1920 versus 1521, sure. He does not have unsurroundable.
Which seems strange.
Yeah, I don't exactly know why. he's the only one, but he doesn't have it. Maybe there's a lore thing. I don't know.
Uh,
Not immediately aware of one.
I don't know if it said somewhere at the bottom of the description. I don't know.
I don't know. It's for
He's too
at
cool.
present,
He's
it's
too
not
cool
really.
to need it. He's
That's
too cool
yes,
to
he's too cool to need to be unsurroundable.
Yeah.
But so that's it for our non-mage options. Like I said, I think the scouts are awesome.
Yep.
The noble is really good for leading around expansion groups and being like a cheap.
I like him a lot. He's fun.
Yeah, he seems great. And then you've got good 120 leadership options when you need him, as well as a bunch of niche options.
Well, I'm not sure. I think the the other cav guy, that guy just over there, I think you get quite a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think lots of stealthy people with good leadership.
Sure.
I like him a lot.
No, and we'll get to the stealthy units, so we'll sort of see what they have available for the stealthy units. So I think they have 3 stealthy
You
units.
need to be able to
or
elf people
just 2
with elves. It's important.
That's true. You have just 2 stealthy units though.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, go
look
ahead.
at the units now and then go to
To the mages. Sure.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. So you have a light archer. So all the high elf stuff is expensive. Like I said, this is 15 gold for a light archer. But they do have halved upkeep. These are 13 defense is actually pretty good for a light archer. 12 position's fine. Most of the high elves have better than average compared to like regular dominions morale and MR. 12 and 12 on your sort of really cheap unit. And they're very, very light on resources. We actually, this was your suggestion. I did test it. You can, in fact, expand with just light archers against some indie types.
Yeah, because I was thinking about the Joman starting army, and you get the samurai with the archer samurai, but they're actually still really good, or very good in close combat.
Yeah,
and this guy seems fairly similar. He doesn't quite hit as hard.
Yeah, I think he's not quite up to the level, but
Yeah,
it does
his
kind of
longbow's
work.
Doing 12 damage with really good precision.
Yep. Oh yeah, no, the
right.
longbow's great.
I think having a quick look through, I think the dwarves also get the half upkeep, but this isn't like a really common thing in the mod. So
no, I don't believe it is. But I think you're definitely paying for it up front.
Yeah. But your upkeep is cheaper than like a 10 gold unit afterwards.
Yes.
So it's sort of like free front loading all the.
Yeah, you sort of front load all the costs, and I think it means you really want to try and have low attrition, because you're paying for these front loaded costs.
Which is very thematic for the high elves.
It is thematic. I think these guys are great. I think like recruiting a group of these guys to expand against like lizards is a great idea, or barbs.
Yes.
Yes. Because they're gonna have acceptable attrition if they don't just rout them right off the field to begin with.
Yeah.
And 16 map move. And then we haven't gone through the mages, but you do have access to air and fire, so you can do flaming arrows and wind guide, if that is what's called for in your strategy.
Yeah, I like this guy. He seems good.
Yeah, it's and we'll see another archer in a minute. There's a spearman. So 8 hit points, 13 protection, 14 defense. So he's got good defense, and like decent protection, 12 MR and 12 morale. These for formation fighters, so you can pack 3 of these guys in a square. They just have a generic spear. These guys compare to like the spear heavy infantry, or like are kind of close.
Well, like the Arco kind of.
Yeah, I think might be. I'd have to check. I'd have to check the exact. They're better than like Baratos' units certainly.
You hate them though, so
it's beside the point. But they've done
12 damage isn't.
12 damage is not huge, and 12 attack is fine.
Kind of low. Yeah. Oh, the skill is going to be.
Really good, the skill is what matters here. The low hit points is going to be a thing for this whole nation, and it's gonna. I think playing that we'll get to. I think playing this in some ways is going to be terrifying.
I think you're going to get a lot of afflictions as well. I think.
It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
6 encumbrance, and they're
Yeah,
slower.
yeah. 6. I'm not. I don't love this guy.
Yeah, I have not used him a ton, but I do think when we get to the age, I think we'll see that we're a big mage nation, and we do need someone to hold the line. And it might end up being this guy for the really cheap version, but we'll have better versions, so
Yeah,
we'll get to there.
maybe just getting indies is good as well though.
Maybe. I
You have
think with the
some.
lower upkeep, you'll be better. I like these guys are formation fighters, which is going to help keep them alive a little bit. They have
I don't
a decent
know
shield.
how, because you want them to fill out the space in front.
You
Because
do,
that they're just and then filling
but
up less
they won't
space with that is maybe a
they won't get
hindrance.
broken through quite as fast. I think it depends on how many you have. Because yeah, you do want to make sure they take up a whole line. But once they've taken up the whole line, right, it's better to have them in the formation. So sort of depends on how many troops you have available.
Yeah.
Next up, this is our archer. This is just a more higher protection version of the other archer that costs more resources. So it costs 7 more resources. That's over double. Loses a little bit of defense and picks up more protection. I don't know that you would want a ton of these. Like, you don't have so much protection that you're doing all that much better. Like, I think you're better off, unless you have tons of resources, just getting the light archers.
Well, are they just strictly better than the light archers though?
No, the light archers have more defense.
Okay, but you don't really want your
and they're
archers
faster
fighting anyway. So
well, but that goes for the same for the protection, right? Because I think from an offensive output, they're exactly.
They can get shot though, so
they can get
protection's
shot.
still
That's true.
useful. And if they cost the same gold, I feel like
they do have the same gold.
If you have the resources, you just get those.
That's true. But I think what I've seen is that you tend to be really resource capped, because the better troops we're going to get to cost a lot of resources.
Okay.
But yeah, if you have the resources, I think that you're basically better off.
Right.
Next up this is just a spearman with a bow. He's literally exactly the same, except he can only be recruited over water, and he's got a composite bow as well, with a 13 attack. So he's got okay precision.
Strangely does less damage than the other guys.
Yeah.
Even though it's composite. Yeah.
And he costs more.
I like him. I think yeah, if you can just get him as your front line that can shoot anyway, he just seems a lot better than the spearman.
Yeah, I mean, getting to put out a big thing of bows is nice. Like he lets you get a front line. Wind guide
and flaming arrows.
Right.
Yeah, I think
it lets your front line shoot too. This is kind of the same way people are still willing to use those with like a javelin front line. Right? You still get some value out of it, even while he then goes on to hold your line for you. But you are paying more for it.
But it's not loads more because he also doesn't have formation fighters, so it's going to fill.
No, he does. Oh, whoops.
Oh, he does.
Okay.
No, my bad.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, okay.
Also in formation, I think a lot of your troops are going to have formation fighter on this nation. That elven discipline.
Yeah, well, they're training for decades, so
you would hope so. They're actually not that old. From like a Dominion's perspective, they're only like 100.
Yeah.
But yeah,
what's
so he's
their max age?
2000.
Oh wow. Okay.
So you're not gonna get.
He's like a child soldier to them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you don't have to care about withering weapons. That's
no, you are not going to age these guys out anytime real soon. Next up is the Ranger. So he's got the survivals, small patrol bonus. He's ambidextrous. He's got 2 weapons, no shield, and he's 4 in recruit. So he's, with these guys, right, you get 4 attacks in a square versus the other guys, you get 3 attacks. I'm sorry, I did the math wrong. These guys are 6 attacks, and the other guys are 3 attacks.
Yeah, they also hit
4.
a bit harder.
The other ones are 4 attacks. Because they have formation.
As you were saying earlier, you really want to keep that attrition down. And
yes.
8 protection.
And 14 defense is not bad, but you definitely going to lose people. Yeah. Archers are bad for them. You're not going
to be repelling anyone with length 1, though, as well.
Nope. Nope.
So...
But
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
yeah, they are foreign recruit. So if you just need bodies, you can sort of milk your other provinces a little bit
Yeah,
for
that's always good.
some extra guys. And you could put them on like a flank maybe, right, where they hopefully aren't as exposed to as much fire, and then they sort of
Yeah,
can
I mean,
whittle away.
if you can point buff them a bit,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
You could try and point
then they
buff them a
start
bit.
looking a lot better.
I
I
have
mean,
a
later in the game when you get a like army of gold, army of lead, something like that.
later in the game.
Well, yeah, but then you sort of got rid of their main downside, I think. So
Yes. Um.
I think they'll scale well with the game.
Yes. Agreed. Um. Yeah, and again, foreign recruit, so you can sort of get these guys outside forts as well. This next unit is pretty sweet, actually. Again, so he looks just like a spearman, except he's got a lot more protection. 17 protection, 14 MR, 13 morale. But he's got a magic weapon, which is pretty nice.
Is his spear longer than the other guys?
It is.
Good. I like length 4 is very good.
Length 4 is great. So this guy is going to and again, they're formation fighters. So that's a lot of magic attacks for fending off, the ethereal buff, fending off elementals, fog warriors, etc. He's got a huge shield. So again,
these guys remind me a lot of the Eldar Enway. I've definitely butchered that pronunciation. But from Lord of the Rings, I think they're a lot like those.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just heavily armed spearmen, but like better.
Yeah.
But much better. For 20 gold compared to the other units for 20 gold, I think this is really good.
Yes. Now, this is where I'm talking about using the light arts versus the heavy arts. 36 resources.
Yeah.
So even with Prod 3, right, you're only going to be able to, it's going to be hard to get tons and tons if you're spending resources on other things too. And I don't know if you necessarily have to go all in on these right away. Like they do have some nice stats. You don't necessarily need the magic weapon like right away. But the 17 prot and the length 4 weapon still go like a decently long way. And at the extra 5 gold, if you have time and resources, I think you're just going to get these instead.
Yeah, I think the extra MR and morale is going to be really nice.
Also the case. Now they do have more encumbrance and lower mat move. But
that is a lot of encumbrance.
It's a lot of encumbrance.
Painful. Yeah.
Now you do have nature.
Yeah. Okay.
Eventually, but that won't help you early in terms of putting relief up.
Is their formation fighter still 2?
Still 2.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I don't think they have any 4 anywhere. Shadow Warrior is this guy's 10 more gold than a basic spearman. This is your first stealthy unit, 75 stealth, also has an air shield of 50, ambidextrous, and a skirmisher, as well as wasteland survival. He's got 2 attacks and a longbow, with pretty good precision. And he's also foreign recruit.
Okay, so this is your stealthy guy to go with.
This is your stealthy infantry guy. Because you have another stealthy guy over here.
So, how many of these do you think you would need to take out 6 PD?
That's the question. I think against 6 PD, it depends on what it is, but because they're going to be very resilient against archer fire, right, with this air shield.
Yeah. And
they've got a longbow to deal some decent damage to people before they get into melee with you. I don't know that it's going to be cost effective. You'd have to run some more. I haven't run enough tests against enough PD types.
You're going to have to put in several hundred gold.
Yeah.
I think to take 6 PD, and I'm not sure it's cost effective at that point.
Yep.
As opposed to getting like somebody with just like a little bit of gear.
I would tend to agree.
I imagine you're quite gold constrained on this nation if all your troops are so
crazy
expensive.
gold constrained.
Yeah, so you're probably less gem constrained maybe. So it might be more efficient to just use gems for gear and then thug out a province.
Yes, that is my my thought as well, but maybe if you can keep them, sometimes just having extra threat vectors helps. People don't know if you're going to show up with this or with a thug or with cavalry or whatever. sort of
Yeah,
help
sure.
just keep them off
It also
balance.
maybe depends against what opponent you're against. Maybe
Sure. Yeah.
some enemies are quite susceptible to arrows. So maybe, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, somebody's texting me. Okay. Next unit. These you get War Lions. So these are limited recruitment. You can only get 10 a month. 25 gold, so they cost 10 more gold than a spearman. Not a ton of protection, size 3. Pretty mediocre defense. I think the low MR because they are animals. I think the point, though, is that you get 2 attacks at resources 1. So for expansion, you can use these guys to add a lot. You can really spend a lot of extra gold on beefing out a party that does not take up a lot of resources.
Can you get these from every fort?
I don't remember.
If you just hover over them, I think it should.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't say it. It doesn't say that they're cap only, so.
Okay. Well, they've got 20 combat speed as well.
They're pretty fast.
Can you like flank and attack?
Yes.
Yeah, I think they're an early game unit, aren't they? I think.
Yeah, I mean they're an animal, right?
Yeah.
They do have dark vision, which you could try and get somebody with. You can cast, not darkness, but solar eclipse.
Okay.
So I think that they definitely have a spot. You know, I don't know. They're expensive and they take attrition, just because they don't have a ton of protection or defense. But they have 14, 2 attacks at attack 14 for 18 and 16 slashing damage. So.
Yeah, I think they've got like an early game place.
Yeah, I think they have a place. Next up is, I think, your heaviest infantry that you can get out of any fort, from a damage perspective. So this guy is a little bit more HP than your average elf. He's at 11, 13 prot, and 16 defense. That's pretty good defense. Great morale, 16 morale, 13 MR. And he's got a 24 damage, length 2 axe, formation fighter, and bodyguard. So these guys are going to chop people up.
Yeah, bodyguard is always nice.
And bodyguard helps. You definitely you're so afraid of getting assassinated on this nation, which we'll get to, but deathly afraid.
Okay.
So being able to add in bodyguards definitely is going to be very valuable. But with formation fighter, you're going to be able to stick 4 24 damage attacks in a square. So you can definitely, these guys, with a little bit of help from an offense perspective, can take down really tough enemy units. High protection is not going to save you versus these guys.
Does that cloak act as a shield? Is that what that is?
Yes.
Okay. Nice.
Which is nice, yeah, because they're gonna be a little bit more resilient to arrows and stuff still too, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I think they seem pretty good.
Yeah, they seem pretty nice to me. And 14 attack is very respectable.
What are they limited to? It says they're limited.
They are also limited. It doesn't. On the other one, it told me. I don't remember exactly what they're limited to. I don't remember their limited recruitment being a huge limiting factor compared to spending the gold and the resources.
Yeah, they're also cheap in resources, which is
yeah, they're cheap in resources. They do cost a decent amount of gold. Although the bigger the gold cost, the bigger the discount you're getting on the upkeep.
Well, it's the same, really, isn't it? Because if you got
no, I know, but on each individual unit.
Yeah.
And some, this helps you put more gold in a square, etc. So I like these guys. I think that they have a definite place if you're going against high protection enemies. That this is a giant axe.
Yeah, that's basically what it is, a giant axe. I think you could beat up some Pokemon in Assassination. So,
oh yeah. I'm gonna.
I could definitely see people getting that.
We're gonna skip this guy and go back just because he's capital only and this one isn't. So I don't entirely know the ordering here. This is your stealthy horse archer, horse light cavalry. So he's 35 gold.
Which is actually fairly cheap for a cav unit.
It is, yeah. But if you're gonna be using him like in raiding, right? If you're gonna send 10 of these guys, I mean, that's 350 gold. Put him on a stealthy guy. It's a 400 and something gold.
I think you could probably get away with less.
Okay, it may be against 6 PD.
Yeah, with the lance.
They do have the light lance, which is going to help, and you can start with the
combat
bow.
speed. You could probably like hold attack rear, and I could see that working.
Go for the snipes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the basic testing I did with their kind of lower stats, if they didn't rout somebody with bows or hit somebody in the back, they kind of died really fast. They also do not have unsurroundable.
I think this is a much better option than the Shadow Warrior for raiding.
Yeah.
And I think having cheap cav is fairly cheap cav, really good map move. I like them. They're not amazing.
Yeah.
If you could get like Strength of Giants on them,
that's gonna help.
I think they start looking a lot better.
Yeah. No, I think that they definitely have a purpose. I think you'd have to figure out who you're against and what it is they're sort of putting down for PD to figure out what the most efficient option is, because you definitely have a couple different options.
Yeah, I think they're good though. I like them.
We're gonna go again to. We're sort of skipping around. We're gonna hit all the non-sacred units first.
Yeah, sure.
Then we'll come back to the sacred. So you have a silver helm. So this is a heavy cav, 38 resources, 50 gold. But he's 17 protection, 17 defense. Okay, MR and good morale. He's got a lance which breaks, and then he's got 2 attacks after that.
Yeah, this guy is basically a knight.
Yeah, he's basically a knight.
And knights are good and knights are cool. So
yeah, and then unfortunately for him, in comparison, you have at least in some ways you have an even bigger knight.
Yeah, this is proper elf knight.
This is a proper elf knight. Yeah, so it's 65 gold. So he costs, what is that, 15 more? Yeah, 15 more gold, and a lot more resources, I think. Yeah, well, 12 more resources. But you get 19 protection and 17 defense, which is pretty great. You can expand with 5 of these guys and a commander. They'll take almost anything that's 50 units or below without losses.
That's pretty amazing.
Which is pretty amazing. And you can put out, after the first couple turns, you can put out a party of these guys every turn, and they have 20 map moves. So you're going to be able to get really good expansion options. In expansion testing, I consistently was able to get over 30 provinces by turn 12 while recruiting mages.
Wow. Yeah, that's...
Which is nice.
This guy. Yeah.
And
he's really good for scaling into the later game. He's got that fire resistance.
Yep, he's got the fire resistance, which is going to help him out.
4 is actually
really low. Yeah.
And MR13 is a little bit lower than I would have expected, but
it is a bit for given the rest of the elves we've seen, it's kind of surprisingly low, but it's still good in overall.
Yeah.
Only 10 HP though. So
do you think there's ever an argument for taking the silver helms over this guy?
When I can buy in expansion an extra 1 silver helm.
Yeah, or
which
even
is like
throughout the game.
Really. I mean, so it's 15 gold less. But again, that won't matter. It'll be from an upkeep perspective, it doesn't matter as much. I think I would mostly tend to get these guys.
Yeah, their damage output looks pretty much the same.
The damage output is very comparable. The extra, what is it? The extra 2 protection, I feel like goes a long way. And the fire resistance is just going to help.
A little bit more hit points as well, is that?
10 versus 9. Yeah, 1 extra hit point. Yeah. You have a lot of fire magic, so the incidental fire resistance is potentially really nice for not toasting your own heavy cav.
Yeah, I'm pretty convinced that you should always get the Dragon Princes.
Yeah.
The Silver Helm.
I
think the light cav, I think they're not quite competing for the same role, but
no.
For actual frontline heavy cav.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's true. We then again we'll come back for these are your 2 sacreds. We'll come back for our sacreds. You have a chariot. It costs a boatload of resources and recruitment. It's pretty expensive gold wise. You have all these attacks, but none of them matter, right? Because it's a chariot, so it's going to be trampling people.
The length 4 spear.
It's going to help. Okay, it does matter. It's going to help them repel a lot. but I found that they were crazy expensive for
They
expansion.
basically cost exactly the same as the Dragon Prince.
Yes, but they did not seem to perform as well because the
Yeah,
Dragon Prince, right, doesn't get attacked by everybody at once.
yeah. So, and they're,
And they have less
I don't know,
defense
they're
and
kind of
less
doing a similar
protection.
thing. So,
You
yeah.
could probably make it work, but I found the Dragon Princes were just much more efficient.
I mean, if you can get some point buffs on this guy,
Sure.
yeah,
Um, and you do have some great point buffs available on the nation.
yeah.
Um,
I
but
wouldn't. I wouldn't. If someone did it against me, I think it. I wouldn't think it was a bad decision. But I think the Dragon Princes seem amazing.
yeah, I think they're just kind of overshadowed. But again, if you're against the right kind of unit where the trample is really good, then I think you could consider it.
Yeah. Is there any size one nations in this? Like,
Ah,
does Skaven have sort of like goblins or something
you
that
would think
maybe
they would.
at a size one?
I don't know for sure, but
If you're against a size one, then tramplers
yeah,
are really
then
good.
tramplers are
So
going to help a lot.
that could be a niche.
Yes, you have another chariot. This one's limited
Oh yeah.
recruitment. This one's 90 gold. Which has
Okay.
unsurroundable and then again dark vision. It's got a lion and it's got long axes instead, so it has lower length weapons. Um,
Still three though. Three's
Still
decent.
three, which is not terrible. This is gonna be this unit has 4 attacks.
I think if you, yeah, you kind of want this guy up
Not
against something
trampling.
size four or larger, yeah, because
Yeah.
that's 4 attacks doing a lot of damage
Yes.
with high attack. Defense
Although
skill 19 as well. Unlikely to get hit.
yeah, he's got a great defense skill. I think against larger units, this definitely could have a home. I think the comparison, right? So you could have one of these or 3 of
Well, not.
these,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
even 4 of these. It's 1 to 3 for gold cost, but you could put 4 of these in a square, so it's the same sort of number of attacks. And you could fit somebody else in here maybe. Um,
Yeah, I like this unit. I think it's cool. Who doesn't want a chariot driven by a lion?
that's true.
But in terms of gameplay, I'm not sure it's that great.
Yeah,
Well, I'm not sure it's the most effective, cost
yeah.
effective.
I think he's just a little expensive. Limited recruitment 2. You then have an Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, which costs 140 gold. So that's more than your cheap mage. And it chucks out these big ballistae bolts. I am not immediately sure how to determine how good this is.
I'm looking at this and I really want to like it. I mean, they armor pierce. Actually, the ballista is
It's
armor
armor
piercing.
piercing, yes, it is.
20 armor piercing damage at 18 precision. That surely has a place.
And you have 4 attacks, although they only attack every 2
Yeah.
rounds.
Yes.
Um,
You're also combat speed 16, so you can kind of do some fire and keep distance shenanigans.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, it's still got 2 broadswords and 16 defense, so even if something does get to it,
It's not
an
going to
18 hit point.
immediately
Yeah,
fall over.
yeah.
Although I don't want to trust my 16 defense, 140 gold unit.
I think you don't want it to happen, but if it does happen, it's not maybe not the end of the world.
Man, maybe not.
Equivalence 3. I mean, can they trample or can they?
They
They can't
cannot trample.
but
They are
still.
not tramplers.
Okay, that might be a good thing. Maybe if they run out of
Yeah.
ammunition, they're maybe not going to. Like
That's,
Leroy
I mean,
Jenkins into
yeah,
the
well,
middle of the
that's,
enemy
yeah,
army.
right. This guy runs out of, so you're going to have
Yeah.
20 rounds before they run out of ammunition.
If you
Give or
got Wind
take.
Guide, they're going to like hit every time, and they're just
Yeah.
I
Um,
I think it's definitely worth exploring.
I think it'd be
If you're thinking of
worth,
playing this nation.
yeah, testing when you figure out sort of who you're potentially up against, whether or not they're going to be effective. They're sort of outside like the realm of regular Dominions units. Like I don't.
Well, I think in this mod, I could, if there's like warriors, I can see there being like dwarves, like things with really high armor, like monsters. I definitely think there'll be things that
you want to throw
this guy will be really.
20
and
damage.
I think at 140 gold, we're not really talking about I don't really know exactly what's in this mod, but things that cost like hundreds of gold.
Sure,
I think this guy might actually be maybe a cost-effective way of dealing with it, potentially.
Yeah, there definitely are some big monsters. I know.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to look at the rosters of who you're up against and figure out.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely is better. You don't want to bring this guy against goblins.
Right. Right. You need the right
but it also
enemies.
it does make your opponent have to, like, if you bring one or two of these and your opponent is trying to like thug against you or something,
Oh yeah, it could
he
definitely be
has
bad
to
news for a
factor
thug.
in this, and then has to change their gear and maybe weakens another area of the build for the thug. And
Yep.
I think that I like this
There's
guy.
there's
I like
I
this
think
guy.
it's a tool at least. Yeah,
It's
fire.
definitely a
Put it
tool.
on fire large monsters, and
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
spearing
Or
every.
if there's a cab like version of something that's attacking you, like Chaos Knights, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
think
I think
I
I
like it.
I could see it having a place. I think I think there's some testing, but it's a cool looking unit.
Yeah,
Um.
yeah. It's
Okay.
my favorite chariot, even though it can't trample.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So then we have 2 sacred units and 1 cap only unit who's not sacred. So the sword master is 35 gold, 21 resources, 36 recruitment points. So he's like the rest of the elvish units. He's pretty expensive. 15 protection, 14 defense. He has air shield 30, formation fighter 2, and then a 15 attack, 21 damage, slashing greatsword.
So
And
gonna
he's
contest.
old as shit.
This, this is my favorite high elf unit. So I am completely biased. And
Automatically and in favor
yeah.
of it.
So it's him or the White Lion.
Right.
The big berserker. Well, he's not berserker. The big guy with an axe.
Right.
Which you
13,
a similar
16.
job.
They're doing a very similar job. So this guy's lower defense, more protection, and he's got this air shield.
Yeah, how good is the air shield again?
Only 30.
Yeah. I actually think the other guy's better.
And the other guy has a not shield.
Yes.
He's got his cloak. And these guys are even slower, and they don't have any movement, extra movement options.
Encumbrance is kind of high.
Yeah, 6 versus. It's the same for both. And these guys are limited recruitment, but these guys are cap only.
Yeah. They might move 10 as well. So
yeah, they're really slow.
Yeah.
If you need the extra point of attack, maybe that's relevant.
The extra damage seems.
But the other guy has more damage.
For what the things you're going to be up against that you want to, because if you're taking this guy, you're mainly taking him for the 21 damage. I think you might as well just take the 24.
Yeah.
Because the other one's also, it was the other one like slightly cheaper in gold as well.
Yes, 30 versus 35.
He's got the bodyguard ability. That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some survival. Yeah.
Yep.
Makes me sad, but I think this guy is.
I think you're better off generally with these, but either way,
A big guy with a 2-handed sword. It just looks cool, doesn't it?
It does look cool. All right, then your first sacred is a big guy with a 2-handed halberd. So 50 gold for 9 HP. It's already
50. That's
a little scary.
50 gold for an infantry guy.
For an infantry guy. Now he's got 15 protection is okay. Defense is only 12. Now he's got awe. And awe is great. And little baby versions of the resistances. And then
that's good.
His weapon is a little bit longer, his attack's a little bit worse, and his damage is the same as the Swordmaster and lower than the Lion, but it is slash and pierce. And his MR, I think, is higher. He's 15, 18. This guy is 13, 16, and 13, 14.
Well, he's sacred.
He's sacred.
He's sacred, so it really depends. But I think your Scales troops
seem good enough
to me. So.
And I think you're going to be so gold constrained from what I have seen that you're going to have a really hard time justifying a bless for this guy.
Are you going to want... Because the Dragon Prince are only slightly more gold than these.
Right.
And
15 more
gold. Would you rather
gold.
have 4 of those or 5 of the Sacreds? And
I think you'd rather have the dragons.
Yeah. I mean, 12 defense skill also isn't great for 50 gold.
Pretty
Sacred.
low. Like these guys, I tried expanding with them again with a very small blast, and they died fast.
Yeah. So.
You do have one more sacred unit, also cap only. 55 gold for 9 HP.
A 9 protection.
9 protection, 14 defense.
I think you're gonna get hit by an arrow and
you're gonna die.
You're gonna feel really sad about it every single time.
Yeah, I think you're just gonna die.
So has the bow got some sort of special?
The bow adds damage versus demons and undead.
Well, that is very relevant.
So that is very relevant.
21 armor piercing could be.
Yes. Yeah, so very relevant against demons and undead. But again, I think that they have a spot when you're going to be up against those. But I don't think you just have this guy.
I think, yeah.
Sort of running around in the world.
I don't think you'd need a bless for this.
No.
But you might bring it.
Yeah. I think, yeah, if you know you're up against demons.
Against some huge undead things, which I think there's like.
There's a lot of undead nations, so yeah.
And the demons are normally like very big and.
Yes.
You want to hit them hard. So
You do.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if the fire damage also, if you're using Dragon Princes, isn't going to actually hurt them. So.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I think that you can use them in the right spot. I don't think you can take a bless for them though. I don't think they justify it.
Yeah. Would you? Yeah. I also think if you're getting 2 of these, that's nearly as much gold as the Eagle Claw.
I was thinking the same thing.
Kind of doing a similar thing, really, but I think this also has some extra stuff. You can get it anywhere. It's faster on the map, which is always great.
This you cannot get anywhere. This is cap only. Yeah. So
also that guy is just so cool. That's my favorite unit. I just look at this fight.
Yes, he's ready to chuck stuff. All right, I think we're ready then for the mages. This is where it looks ridiculous, but also where I think playing this nation is going to be.
We already looked at
it's going to be scary
for the slan. So High Elves are famous for their excellent magic.
Yes. Okay. So going
their diversity of magic, very good.
The diversity of magic is excellent. So this is your base mage. Recruit anywhere at 2 points. So fire, astral, and then all of their researchers are magically attuned, so your magic scales are doubled.
So your magic is off the charts.
So you're pretty much locked into M3, I think.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And so this guy is 120 gold for 15 research, and he plugs into a communion. Now he's got 8 HP. But 15 MR.
Astral is always.
Astral can you can put luck and twist fate and stuff.
This is a lot like the MA Marignon.
Yeah, I think it's kind of similar.
Yeah.
But so this is going to be your standard. I think the mage you have the most of, and yeah, so you're going to be able to pumping out 15 research points a turn probably, which is nice.
Yeah, you're going to complete that. You can complete all the research very quickly.
Yeah.
Also, we run about point buffing. And
yep, this guy does a great job.
Is astral, so.
Yes, he's going to do a great job point buffing, and again, like you're going to have, formation fighter, so you're going to fit extra guys in to get point buffs on these squares.
That's very true. That's really good. I think this is a great mage.
Yes,
you are paying for it a bit. 120 gold for your cheapest mage.
It's expensive.
I think if your research is 15, you might not even need as many as other people.
Yeah,
it's fine sending them off to war and stuff, and you'll still be able to macro behind it. So.
Yes, yeah. They could jump into communions, obviously. Now you're gonna they only have 2 paths, and if you throw these guys into communions with the rest of your mage corps that has other paths, you can definitely burn them out extremely quickly.
Yeah, maybe forge like a bow, so that.
Yeah, so you got to be very careful with your communion math. But they also have so just a great unit for that. Little expensive, great researcher. Got to be careful in communions because he's got 8 HP.
Yeah, and your labs cost 100 less. So
your labs do cost a little bit less.
In some way, they're cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah. Your next mage is sort of an oddity compared to the rest. So this is your next cheapest. One more of these is going to be 1 path only, and they'll be cheaper. But this is your next cheapest mage at 320 gold.
Okay.
For a Fire 3 Air 1. He's fire resistant, and he's a combat caster.
Well, this guy is
hideously
so cool.
Expensive.
Yeah, he's cool. He's cool though. Look at him. Look at him
I
with that. That's a broadsword. That is not a
I
broadsword.
would I think he's got the broadsword in this hand.
Oh, is that like his magical staff?
I want to say that it is, but
He's cool.
I
I
can't
like
lean in
it.
any closer to my computer. I'll get too close to the mic.
Yeah, I don't.
He is sacred.
Yes, very true. I'm not sure you need this guy
No,
though.
four recruitment points as well.
Yeah, is he recruit
Um,
anywhere though?
yes, he is recruit anywhere. The the reason, so we'll get to the spells. They have some unique summons, and spells that care about this guy. Like you can put him on a dragon.
Oh, I'm so sold. I'm so sold.
Um,
Give me this guy.
so and he's the only one.
Uh,
You can't put the rest of your mages on dragons.
he's also got a little bit of magic leadership, which I don't know
He does. You have much
how
better options
readily
though.
you have access
Oh, you have
to.
much better
Okay,
options.
I mean, I just want to thug this guy though. Like, look at it.
18
Like,
MR.
yeah,
Um,
fire 3 isn't great for thugging. Air is
no.
nice.
Air is
Uh,
helpful.
he's gonna need some gear, isn't he? But
He's so expensive.
I mean, actually, to
He
be
is
fair, fire and combat caster is pretty good.
yes. And he's got some, you could put some extra fire resistance on him, and he could cast that whatever the point blank I blow myself up spell is, like incineration.
This guy's the best thing. I love this guy.
He has a little
Really
bit more hit points than the rest of your mages. He has 14.
You're just sending this living bomb.
Yeah.
And
Make
you
sure
get a
he's
dragon?
properly decked out. But yeah, so
you've got to get one of them, and then do something cool with
you
him.
certainly need at least one. So I think
And then-
all of our mages are going to be any fort except these 5. So these next 3 are all going to be any fort as well, and they're all also going to be 4 recruitment points. This guy's 340 gold. You get 7 paths. Air, water,
Yeah.
astral, and then you can also random into fire, additional air, additional astral, or a nature. So huge diversity. A lot of your elves are going to have an inept researcher to cancel out the fact that they just be monstrously good at researching. This guy researches for 23.
Yeah.
He's also
over
a sailor.
2 turns. But
Over 2 turns.
Yeah, do you care though? Because your basic mage is so amazing.
Well, that's
at researching. So you
right.
don't really care about these.
Yeah,
I don't there to research.
I don't think you're as you're not as worried about that. But again, right, you're putting 340 gold into 8 HP
and two protection. Yeah, but
with 2 protection.
He's got
a lot of paths to help him out. But
I mean, you're gonna want to cast air shield of this guy.
Yeah, God forbid you get hit with like flames from the sky, or somebody said seeking arrows at your elf army.
Skaven's blade slinger hits this guy and he dies.
And then he dies. But he could. I mean, this guy can obviously cast a ton of great stuff. This is more cross paths than we can go into all of the options, right? I mean, he's got 4 different things, and it's astral, so you can get whatever level you need. Should be noted, of course, that air and water are not present on your little mage, so if you cast big air and water spells, you're gonna just crush them. Now you could. If you had several and you needed like high air, right, you can do something that could be air 3. You can then do power the spheres to get air 4. And if storm's up, you could do storm power to get air 5. It's a little slow, but you can.
You've also got communion though, so.
Yeah, and you've got communion, but just if you don't want to just crush a communion.
Well, I think just give this person
give him a bow
a
afterwards.
big spell, and then I think that's what you do. I mean, Fog Warriors is going to be amazing.
Yeah, Fog Warriors is going to be big.
Yeah. So this guy seems like the last one we just looked. Seems like what would be your main mage for most of the nations, but I imagine it's going to get even crazier.
It gets even crazier. It gets even crazier. So this is 7 paths. Recruit anywhere, 340 gold. Next up is only 6 paths. We're coming down a level. He costs even more gold, but he does not have He has.
He's a priest though. So
he's got a priest level. Which this guy doesn't have.
Priest astral can actually be surprisingly good too. You could communion.
Yep, you can communion up priests like that. Yeah. And this guy has fire, air, astral, and then he can also grab earth.
Is this your cheapest? We didn't get a normal just priest level 1, did we?
No,
I don't
you
think.
have. So your cheapest priest is
Yeah,
this. We'll get
that's
to
another
her.
argument for not taking
But
a bless
you're,
for
yeah,
the
your
troops.
priest. You don't have a cheap priest. You're gonna be on indie priests.
Yeah, which is
Not
well,
ideal.
yeah. This scream scales this nation.
Oh yeah. Um, but so he's also sacred. And he's got earth, which you can then plug into the communion, which is pretty awesome. You're gonna be able to do great stuff with these paths, though.
Yeah, getting Earth for like stone skin as well, not just the reinvigoration, could be really good for the slaves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If they're 8 hit points or whatever they were, yeah.
Yeah. You then, because you didn't get enough of the particular verse, you get a healer and a disease healer whose
This is
astral.
what I mean. This is
This
what I mean
is
about the high elves getting stuff. Like they always do in every game.
astral and nature, and then you can pick up one of any elemental or more astral. Although
This is
390 gold for 8
yeah.
HP, 2 protection. But again, with healer, as we're gonna see, you have even higher astral available, so you can definitely pull off like the Archacephaly mind hunt, with impunity nonsense, at really high effectiveness.
Yeah, I think this guy could also be pretty good to foul vapors trap with like a few bodyguards maybe, and then he's got inbuilt poison, and then he's got the healer for the troops.
Yep. Yep, you can definitely do this guy can bluff Elves. This is your relief caster. I mean, this is huge nature in combat.
Mass regeneration.
Mass regen, mass protection if you're not against fire. Very huge addition.
You're definitely going to be getting this guy.
Yes, huge addition.
I'm not sure about the one before. I don't know.
It depends on whether you need the fire, right? Because first the previous guy, it's fire or water.
But you can. What was it? 1 and 4 of them got fire anyway. So.
This guy, 1 and 4 gets fire anyway.
So because they're also cheaper, and they have.
Yes, they are slightly cheaper.
If you're going to be casting, you don't want to like spam fire spells. You're probably doing like a big fire spell. Right. You could just use one of your randoms.
Now you do have. We'll get to the spells. The elves have some unique fire spells. That they're going to enjoy casting, and fire astral spells they're going to enjoy casting.
Okay. Maybe I've spoken too soon.
Yeah, well, it's okay. We'll get there. This one is cap only. He's actually not a mage. He's only a priest. 300 gold. But he has Fear 5 and Awe 2, as well as Resistances and Fate Weaving. Now, I don't think that you want this unit in general running around, right? It's 300 gold. If you've got cheap items, right, you could say maybe he could definitely thug with items, but he's pathless effectively. So you're not going to be teleporting in or out. You're very vulnerable to, sort of stuff you're not prepared for. It does have good MR, so you're not going to get mine hunted to oblivion.
Got 30 morale. He's not
crazy morale.
Now this guy is a scalpel, but he's 300 gold, so he's a gold.
He's very expensive. But I have found in expansion testing that this is actually one of the key units for the high. Because I was only hitting like the 20 province number until I found out you recruit one of these guys with 5 spearmen on turn 1, put him in the back, put them on guard commander. He does Holy Avenger or whatever it's called, Sermon of Courage, Blessing, and he will kill most provinces.
Okay.
Which allows you to double, and your starting army can too. So you double expand turn 1, which gets you so much farther ahead on the resource game.
Especially with the Citadel,
Especially with the Citadel, that then you can really roll into
Dragon Princes.
The Dragon Princes to make the rest of the expansion really pop.
And then Dragon Princes just sounds like a good army to have at the end of expansion.
Yes, I think, like I said, so I think you only want one of these guys. They work most of the time, but they don't work every time. So you definitely don't want them as your primary expansion strategy, especially because you don't want to end up with an army of these idiots at the end.
I think having one though as a counter thug, I think that's what this.
Yeah, you can definitely use him as
a
counter thug when it matters. But So yeah, I found him to be very good as that little nudge you need to make expansion work.
Yeah, Fear and Awe is also a great combo.
Yeah, great combo. Great combo. He
It's
hates arrows. He hates arrows so much. You can also sometimes run into problems with barbs because if they get berserk,
yeah,
you can be set. Now his weapon has an area of effect.
He's got like the Yes thing.
Yeah.
Or it's like a firebrand. Yeah.
It's like a firebrand. So
that was just a holdover from our Disciples game when I played Yes. That's it.
Yes. Yeah. But so again, I liked him for expansion and as particular use case, but very expensive. Here is our cheapest.
Was he 2 recruitment points?
He is 2 recruitment points.
Okay.
Here is our cheapest priest, 150 gold. For a nature 1. She's stealthy, but there's no assassination or anything here. Bad researcher. She has magic weapons. It's the same. It's the same bow.
Yeah. Oh, it's number of attacks
same
too.
spear as well.
I did not notice that before.
Oh yeah. Extra
okay.
shots.
Is that the same for the sacred troop? Did we?
Yeah. It's this.
Oh.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not. Just her.
Oh, sad.
Yes, but I think that she's really expensive.
Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower is still the way to go.
Yes.
So
you can maybe thug her out for particular uses again. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, if you had a bless, I don't know.
I don't think that she's your go-to gal. You then get a very cool unit who's never going in combat if you can help it. Master Smith 2.
Is this cap only, this guy?
This is cap only 4 recruitment points. And he's got Fire, Earth, and then you can pick up another Fire, Earth, or Air, Water, Astral. And with Master Smith 2, this forges fire hats for you. This one, the air does not get you... it just gets you into Air 3. It does not get you boosters.
Is Master Smith you count your... levels being too higher.
Yes. So this guy for forging can be a fire 4, air 3.
This seems a lot like the Vanheim.
Yes, this part is similar. Water 3 gets you into all the water. Getting earth 4. So this guy, even no matter which one, is going to have access to hammers right off the bat.
I think you probably want a few of these guys actually.
I think you want several. I think you probably want to try and get one of each random. Maybe. Some of them you need less than others.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
The astral.
You maybe don't need. I don't know. Some of the other paths, some of the people were quite high.
Yeah, some people.
Get 3 of people. So
you've got fire.
Depends what
3.
randoms you get on. Depends what randoms you get on this guy.
I think
you. I don't know.
You need. I think the tricky one. Yeah.
So
the astral one is so if you get the 1 out of 3 earth on this guy, and then you have this guy, any of them can make a boots. You could give him a boots, and then you can make all your crystal gear.
Yes.
But so really good at forging stuff, obviously, and he's a good researcher too.
You've already got astral though. I don't know how much you need crystal gear.
I mean we'll get to the last 2 mages, but if you're gonna mind hunt somebody, this guy starts at 3, can pick up a 4th. All right.
I'm not fully familiar with what all the crystal gear is, to be fair.
The crystal gear is
the matrix and
it's the matrices, which you don't need. That's true. It's the crystal coin is +1 astral.
Oh yeah, definitely want that. Yeah.
And then the shield is automatic automatic power the spheres in combat. The crystal shield.
Right.
And those are all the earth astral ones, which is pretty great. So huge asset to the nation. At cap only, recruitment point 4. I don't know if you can wait for all of these. You may just have to at some point decide when it's worth it to do something else. But you do have a citadel, so it's not every other turn. You're getting a little bit faster. That's still nice.
Yeah. What are the other cap only guys then?
The other cap only guys are you have a lore master of Hoeth. So he's got. I love
these guys.
He's got 2 in all the elementals plus Astral. Now he actually has Master Smith -3 and Master Ritualist -3, as well as a big inept researcher penalty. So the game is like, you are not going to go and use this guy to forge all your stuff and do all your rituals.
Yeah.
Not his job.
I mean, look at this guy. He's the coolest guy. Look at him.
He has a lot more HP.
I don't. I'm not. I'm not immediately feeling like you're going to get a lot of this.
Yeah, so
460 gold.
He's 460 gold. Now he can get, you can do a power of the spheres, right, to get 3s and all this stuff. So all the elemental cross paths, like in combat, he's going to be able to. He could plug into a communion and do any of this stuff.
Although, but I'm not sure. Like, you need him for that because you've got all these other paths that can go in a communion anyway, and you can route them from anywhere. So
you can. He's a lot more durable. He has 18 hit points, 15 protection, 18 MR, 17 morale. He's expensive. Don't get me wrong. He's crazy expensive. But I could see he's more durable than your other units. Don't think Combat Caster's relevant.
Yeah,
I
saw Combat Caster and I just want to thug him, but it's way too expensive.
You can maybe if you can
like amazing at it, but yeah.
Yeah, I say you can maybe if you have a plan to like get him pulled, like if you put like a shade mail on him, he could teleport in or something and like counter thug when you have it all scripted out. As long as you have a plan to get him back out, because you can't really mind hunt him out with his astral paths.
So, we'll have a look at the other guy. I think.
Yeah, here's the other guy, the Archmage. So he's got 3 fire, which is tied for your best, 3 astral, which is your best, and then he can pick up air, earth, or astral. So he can go up to 4 astral. He's 500 gold. He's only 8 hit points.
I want to, give him some armor, please.
He has a little bit of fire resistance, and he's got Farcaster.
Nice. I like that.
Which is nice. So again, these are all paths you do have access to. Now, having high fire astral cross paths are the elves' unique spells in this.
Okay.
So that is relevant.
Yep.
But he's very expensive.
Yeah. 3 encumbrance is pretty good as well.
Yeah, 3 encumbrance is nice.
Yeah, you do want to look encumbrance on them.
I think that you're not necessarily on this nation going to be recruiting your cap only guys every single turn.
No, mate,
they're so expensive.
Not for the entire game, no.
Not for the entire game.
Yeah, I actually think looking at all of these, I think the Smiths do look. You're going to get a lot of them, I think, actually, and I think your recruits everywhere like big mages.
They do a lot. Like this guy, right? This guy is 2/1/2 of the same paths. This guy's 2 extra paths. Which is not nothing.
I mean the Farcaster is good,
and the Farcaster is great.
We'll have to see the unique spells. Because if you need those paths for that, but you've got astrals, so I'm not sure. I'm
just imagining this guy getting hit with a seeking arrow, and you just cry.
I think the Skaven Slave Slinger is what.
That too. Yeah. He's no.
I think if you look at the cost between him and the other guy that you were on about before, who's 2/1/2, and think how many Dragon Princes or other guys you can have as well, like the opportunity cost seems really high for getting.
It does seem high. It does seem high. Now all your mages are sacred, so you can potentially try and do some stuff in the blessed to help them out. Except this guy's not sacred.
Yeah, I think you definitely do.
Yes.
Something. I don't think you need loads though.
No, I think you're gonna end up being on a small bless. Okay, we're gonna just real quick go through the summons, and then we'll jump into the spells.
I also don't think you need an awake or anything, do you?
No, I don't think so.
But I'm also not. Yeah, I think you could, with your really good research. I don't actually think you. I think you could just go imprisoned. I think.
Yep. Especially because you can, like I said, you can put out a party while recruiting a mage, because you can recruit a noble and a mage at the same time in your citadel.
Yeah. Unless you wanted to get death or blood, which.
I mean, yes, that you'd have to figure out in those parts, but you probably don't need that early.
Well, it's good for getting the income up higher, though.
I mean, it is, but I think that the rest of your nation's too expensive to do it for just that reason.
Probably.
Now, so you have some summons. You have Great Eagles, which are a little bit worse than the vanilla Great Eagles, but come 2 levels lower in summoning.
I'm just looking at the dragons.
The dragons are coming. You can put a prince on a Great Eagle,
That looks like a really cool sprite.
It's a really cool sprite. He costs
It
a
looks a little
decent
bit
amount
like a
of gems.
Bretonian. I don't know. Yeah.
It does look a little Bretonian.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
But you can use this guy maybe to lead around your Great Eagles and like insta pop forts. Because they do have siege bonuses.
How did you get these then?
You summon them.
They're
like
how
summon.
easy is that to do?
Let's just go to the test game.
Yeah, good idea.
Unfortunately, I didn't. I did all my testing on a different computer, so I can't show anybody the expansion testing, but we can look into just a. Okay. So these guys are only at Summon Great Eagles is at 4. They cost 8 air gems, and you get 4+, and they're only at air 2.
How is it +1 per? What's the?
1 per level.
Okay, so your cap only would get you like an extra 1.
Yeah. So you're not going to get like a huge bonus to them, but you can get a couple extras, and you're getting 4. So they cost 2 gems.
You can get
each.
to 4 really fast with this nation as well. So.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you.
This is a Great Eagle.
Actually for siege strength.
Right. So I think
pretty amazing because you've got small armies, haven't you, with this nation?
Probably, and you can just fly these guys around to help you insta break forts.
Yeah, you definitely can with map move 40. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you use them with the not this guy. That's a hero, I think. This guy. So you can he's only map move 34. Travesty. But you could throw the ball on him and just fly in.
Yeah, he seems. I like this guy.
He's another one.
He looks really cool, but he's also got 120 leadership and.
Yeah, he's
really fast movement.
He's air 3 and 14 gems to get him. So
which I think is
it's
decent value actually.
Yeah, it's if you've got enough of these guys, I think it's probably worth it. You can also summon unicorns, which is 4+ nature 2 for 6 nature gems. These are sacred.
Yeah, and you had a recruitable nature 3, didn't we? So that's...
Yes, you do. Who can be nature 4, I think. So these guys are sacred. They have a magic weapon. They have 2 attacks, 30 HP. They are animals though.
They are, but they've got MR 14, so that's not.
They have decent MR, but they're just vulnerable to all that nature crap.
Yeah, magic being is a.
Magic being's bad news, and you don't want to take a big bless anyway.
No, I mean even so, I mean.
Very good combat speed.
Yeah, I mean good attack and defense, 2 attacks, 16 morale. They're good. They can pick up recuperation.
Yeah, I mean
damage. I'm down.
They're not terrible. You then get, so you can summon a dragon mage on a dragon, or you can summon the dragon, or you can summon a prince on a griffin, all at conj 6. So this is our dragon mage on the dragon.
At conjuration 6, that sounds really good.
Yeah. So this is that same mage, the first 4 recruit cost guy. Same paths. Now he can fly around. He's lost his feet. He's got a breath attack.
It just made me think that he has to have them like cut off so he can.
He gets his feet cut off. 22 hit points though. When he dies, the dragon will keep fighting, but it will leave at the end.
I was just about to say, yeah.
It will leave at the end. So if he dies, he dies. So he's
resistances though. I mean.
Yes. At relatively small amounts except fire. And he has fear.
I mean, it's a mage and a dragon.
It is a mage. It is a mage.
I think you would. Do you think you? What's the dragon on its own?
Let me show you. Here's the dragon on its own. 80 hit points, 17 protection, 12 defense. It's good MR and morale.
You get this anyway if you get the other guy.
Only if he dies.
If he dies, yeah. But
yes.
You essentially do, yes. So,
yes. But you don't get to you don't get to keep it.
No, I know. But if this guy dies anyway, you wouldn't get to keep him.
Well, yes. So. I mean, yes.
I think you paid the extra 20 gems is what I'm trying to say.
What was the I mean, yeah. Don't remember what the difference in cost was. They're the same cost.
Oh, they're the same. I just get the Get the mage. I definitely think the mage is a
I
really
think
good
you want the
pick.
mage. It is 30 fire gems. And I think you need,
Which I
yeah,
don't think is that expensive
yeah.
for middle age. I think I think you can
You
get
do
that because
have,
even your basic mage has got you've got good access to fire, so you can
you do
push
now.
that pretty well.
You do have to turn your guy. Your guy does turn into this. So your 400 gold mage or 340 or
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
Only 320 becomes the
Oh,
flying dragon.
but if you just summon the dragon,
If you just summon the dragon, you have
you
a
keep the
dragon,
mage.
and you keep the mage.
Oh, okay, right. So there's
So there is some trade-off there.
okay. Maybe you just get the dragon then. I don't know. It
Yeah,
depends what you're doing, what you feel like.
it does, but I think yeah. I don't know. The dragon has just two miscellaneous slots. I just worry when you get these these monsters that they just end up getting themselves killed somehow.
Well, that's
Um,
true. It's not undisciplined though,
it is
and
not undisciplined.
buying fear is quite
Fear
nice.
is very nice. Fear 7. Um, yeah. The next one, you can get this prince on a griffin. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to look at it enough to figure out why you'd want the griffin versus the eagle. It's got a little bit more HP.
Yeah,
Its defense
yeah.
is high. No, its defense is the same. Um, but
Got fear.
also an option. It does have fear. This one does not have fear. Okay, there you go.
Apparently, a griffin is much more terrifying
Griffin.
than an eagle.
I guess so. Um,
Canon confirmed.
yes. You can then also get up at level 7 your other dragon, who's stronger than the first one, fear and awe, resistances, reinvigoration, and a dominion spreader.
Oh, Dominion spreader. Nice.
And he's always blessed. Not that you're
But
gonna have a
that's
big
not like
bless, but he's 9,000 years old. Again, it's sort of a big monster, so you're gonna need the right situation for it, and that costs 42 fire gems. Alternatively, this one you can summon this guy. You don't need to have one on hand, I don't think, but you get a prince on top, who then gives you access to all your slots, except again his feet have been cut off. Not a caster though. So you're paying a lot of gems for something which doesn't cast spells. But Dom Spreader is really unique, so I don't know.
Sorry, I was just going to have a minute.
No worries.
Can you hear me all right?
You've gotten all garbled.
Yeah, I've had to switch over.
Okay. Used up all the batteries.
Right.
Okay, well we're near the end anyway, so it should be. It sounds. I mean, it's a little garbled, but it's okay.
I'll just let you go.
Yes. Keep talking. So yeah, again, he's a really big like thug chassis basically maybe, or you can like put him in an army to have him do something specific. But 40 gems is a lot. You have a couple more unique spells though. You have Astral Fire. This is Alt 3, Shield of Sapphire. So it's area of effect 3+. And you have access to, like, these are both your communion paths, so you can easily do this without killing your communion slaves. And this is going to give Twist Fate to all the units in the area, which is pretty nice, especially because, again, you get to pack more units in with that formation fighter. So great way to buff up your guys. Compared to Cheat Fate, Area of Effect 1, this is the same thing at Area of Effect 3+. Which is pretty awesome. I think that's... You also have Drain Magic, which hurts all magical beings in the battlefield, including your guys. Which is some armor negating damage. No... I don't think there's an MR check. It says that strong beings can resist the spell. I'm not sure how they are doing that from what's here in the description, because I don't see... There's no MR negates, and the damage is armor negating. Maybe it just means they won't die. But So you can definitely mess with some magic beings if somebody has a lot of those. In Evocation, you get 3 unique spells. Soul Quench is Fire Astral. You get to spit out 7 bolts at 13 plus. Damage increased by 2 per caster level, and number of effects increased by 2 per caster level of 13 armor negating magic damage, MR negates. But this is only at research level 3, so this is going to chew through a lot of really strong enemies, potentially, and hit them in MR where they're not necessarily always as strong. And you can put it into communities, you can put pen gear on, do a lot of great work with that. Flames of the Phoenix is Fire 4, Astral 3, costs a gem. And this gives you Fire Cloud, Conflagration, and Bonds of Fire in an AoE 5. Which is a pretty big AoE. These deals... Now, super short range. Only 20 range. And this one I think is short too. Yeah, only 25, so worth noting. Very short range. But this can deal a ton of damage to people who are not resistant to fire. You then also get the Fury of Cain, which is Fire Astral. 4 plus effects. 19 plus damage. And then bonus heat damage. You fling out a bunch of bolts that are all AoE 1. Armor piercing, and then you also fatigue people out with this fire damage. And that's no gems, so you can just kind of chuck that out. I don't know exactly how it compares to chucking out Astral Fires, though. Like pound for pound. Because anybody who can cast this can also cast this. I don't believe you have any unique construction items or spells. Enchantment, you get Dispel for... you don't have to research. Which is nice. You also get Frost Dome and Dome of Flaming Death on 1 spell. Which costs just Astral Pearls. You also get... This is really unique. For 4 Astral, range of 5, you can put a 1-turn Dome of Arcane Warding up. So you can use it to cover your army's advance from all kinds of malicious enemy spells, which is really important potentially with your low hit point guys. They're really expensive from an Astral Pearl perspective, but potentially pretty valuable. You also have access to opposition, but with AoE, range, extra path requirements, projectile, etc. Your own unique opposition. I don't think you have any Thaums, and you definitely don't have any blood. So a bunch of extra spells to help you out with point buffing, etc. And evocations and stuff. So a lot of really neat bonus spells available. A lot of cool summons, crazy good mages that are very expensive, and the second you get one of them killed by a remote spell you forgot about, you're going to be very sad. But that is that's the nation. A lot of really cool stuff going on. I think I personally still very slightly prefer the Lizardmen, but it's close. These guys have a lot of really cool stuff going on too, but I just, who can resist a giant toad on a floating pelican? Thank you so much for joining me, Arpatheus.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me on. Sorry about my mic cutting out at the end there.
And we got through most of it.
Yeah. Go play this nation, get a dragon, get some eagle bolt throwers, have some fun.
Yes, yeah. Somebody has to let me know how the eagle bolt throwers do. They look fun. But yeah, so really cool nation. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you all for the next A Nation overview at some point. Have a great evening.